Hi, this is Analytics, and welcome to another lesson. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments. Let's get started. In this video, we are going to discuss data types in Power Query. Again, we can work in Power Query from Power BI or from Excel. We are going to use the file that is in this folder right here, Managing Data Types. This is the file, Sales. I'm just going to open it in Excel. You could do it from Power BI too. It's the same thing. And as we have seen in previous videos, we are launching the Power Query editor from the current table. So I just click data and then from table or range, and I'm going to import the table in Power Query. And look, as we have seen before, by default, Power BI will always try to identify what is the data type for each column. So it automatically creates a step. This is the step change type. So it's going to try to predict what is the right data type for each column. It works okay most of the time, but depending on what you want, the specifics of your need, maybe the data types assigned by Power Query will not be according to what you actually want or need. So in this case, we're going to only to study the data types. We will see all the main data types in Power Query. So I will remove the change type step just to examine one by one, column by column. Of course, we're not going through all of the columns because a few of them have the same data type, but we'll see a few of them to cover the main data types. And as you have seen before, this little icon here, this means at this moment, Power Query is not aware of what data type is the right one in each column. Okay, so this means the data type hasn't been assigned yet for each column. And as we have seen before, this little icon right here means Power Query hasn't assigned a data type for this column yet. So whenever you see, we have seen it before, whenever you see this little icon here, ABC123, it means for this particular column, Power BI hasn't assigned a specific data type yet. So that's what it means. And of course, if you don't have a data type assigned, so Power Query doesn't know what to do with this data. So of course, if you need to do any mathematical calculation, Power Query is expecting it to be a numeric, expecting you to classify this column as a numeric column. If not, so if you want to, for example, sort the data or change it into uppercase or lowercase, so Power Query will expect you to classify it as a text column. So what you're going to do with your data depends on the data type you're assigning to each column. Okay, so in this case, this is a column with sales key. So each number is a unique number assigned to each row, and which row represents a single sale. So these are numbers to identify single sales. They do not repeat. So they are unique numbers that are used as a key for this column. So a lot of people prefer to use key numbers, unique identifiers as text. So I will classify it as text, and this little icon ABC means it's a text column. That's not always true. For example, when I work with accounting data, so my key normally is the code for each account, and I use those codes as unique numbers to identify each account. But at the same time, I use them as whole numbers because I need to use them for sorting data. So it actually depends on your use case and what is the best choice for your data model. So, but in most instances, a lot of people prefer to use keys, unique numbers as text, since they are not going to perform any calculation with these numbers. So they don't see it as numbers for calculations. So they just prefer to have it as text. It's okay, depends on your need. But for example, in this other column, let me pick a column here. For example, unit cost. Unit cost definitely is a financial measure, so you need it to be a number. But there are different types of number you can pick in as your data type. So you could have a percentage data type, or you can have it as a whole number or a currency or decimal number. Let's make it a currency. And unit price, let's make it not unit price, but I have another column here. For example, discount amount, I will have it as a decimal number, and I'll show you the difference between the decimal number and the currency data type. So a decimal number, for example, in this second row right here, you have 3 decimal places. So if you classify your column as a decimal data type, so you can have as many decimal places as you had in your source data. But once you classify it as currency, like here, the unit cost, we mark this as currency, you will only have 2 decimal places. And that's the standard in Power Query. And what else? Let's work with integers. If I take, for example, unit price, it is right now, you see it's a decimal column. The data type here is supposed to be decimal. Right now, Power Query still doesn't see it as decimal, but you can see that the separator shows you that it is supposed to be a decimal or a currency data type. But in this case, I'm going to pick whole number. And once I mark this column as whole number, you will see that the numbers will be rounded up or down to a whole number. Okay, so that's what the whole number data type will do to your data. So watch out for round numbers, because that could affect your final results, your final calculations. Okay, so let's work with data. Now I have the date key column, which is supposed to be a date and time column. Power Query still doesn't see it or as date or time, because, you know, according to this icon, it means it hasn't been assigned a data type yet. But for us, for humans, we can see that this is supposed to be a column, date and time data type. Okay, so I will just select, for example, you can see here that you have the date, the full date, month, day, and year, and you have hours, minutes, and seconds. And then if it's AM or PM, it's in the American format. So let's say I want to change, we've already seen decimal number, currency, whole number, we'll see percentage soon. And let's say I would just want to show the date. I don't want to show the time or minutes or seconds, and none of that. I just want the date. I'll just click date, and bam, my data is now adjusted only to show the date. If I want to show only the time, I would just remove this last step so I can go back to the previous scenario. And now I just want the time. I only have the time right now. And if I want to keep date and time, I would just select date, time. Okay, it didn't change the content of the column, but now, as you see, the little icon changed, so it means now Power Query is actually seeing this column as date time, and it wasn't before that. Let's see the percentages. I will pick this column right here, the discount amount. So look, discount amount. If you look at this second row, note that the number is 0.995, and in terms of percentage, it will be 99.5%. So let's mark it as percentage. And there you go, 99.5%. So that's really simple. And let's see what happens when we change a data type to duration. Look, duration. So in this column, although Power Query hasn't identified the data type yet, but we can assume it is supposed to be round numbers, right? It's supposed to be integers. So let's see what happens when I change it to duration. Duration is my data type. And you will see that now these numbers were turned into days. So if I just click the previous step, I will see the table as it were before my last step. So whenever you want to see the different versions of your table, you just should click the previous step so you can see what your table looked like before you made the last changes. And look, 1 now is changed to 1 day, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. 10 was turned into 10 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. But what if I do the same with the decimal column like this, sales amount? It's a decimal column, right? It's not marked as decimal, but you can see it is supposed to be. So I'm going to change it to, these numbers are too high. Let me pick one with lower numbers, and all of them are high. So let me pick this one, unit cost. And then in unit cost, I will change it to duration. And now look, I had 91 in the first row, 91.05. It means when I turn it into duration, it's going to be 91.05 days. So 91 days. But if I turn 0.05 times 24 hours, it will give me 1.2 hours. And look, it's actually 1 hour. And then if I make it 0.2 times 60 minutes, it's going to give me 12 minutes. And that's why I have 91 days, 1 hour, and 12 minutes, which is 91.05 converted in days, hours, and minutes. And let me see. Okay, let me go to the last step. And now let's use this return quantity column. Let me check what numbers I have in this column. I have 0, 1, and 2. Okay, 0, 1, and 2. Let me try to convert it to true or false. And it doesn't really make sense to me, right? Because some rows will return me false and some others return me as true. And it doesn't make sense unless I have only binary data in my column. So if I had only ones and zeros, though, that would make sense to me because I'm turning zeros and ones into false and true. So I will remove this last step and let's do a quick change in this column. Let's replace all the twos for, say, zeros. Okay, how can I do it? I will just select the column and then in transform, I will replace values, and then I'm replacing twos. Every value, every row that has a 2 will be replaced with 0. So I'll hit OK, and now I can see I only have zeros and 1. So I see that I have zeros all the way through row 21. In row 21, I have 1, and row 24 is 1, 2. So rows 21 and 24 should be different from the rest. So let's turn it into true and false. So you see zeros were replaced by false. In row 21, 1 was replaced by 2. Row 23, 1 was replaced, 24, 1 was replaced by true. So you can see that Power Query converted zeros into false and ones into true. So that might be useful too. And before we finish this video, let me check the ones that we haven't covered yet. So we have covered text, duration, all of these. We are not going to cover binary right now, but in the next video, we're going to explore using locale. That's a very cool feature, very cool resource in Power Query when it comes to converting data that comes from a different country or a different format. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you have any question, and see you in the next video.